Love leaves traces. Quiet, almost invisible traces. When people imagine a woman in love, they often think of the obvious, the dramatic confessions, the big words, the unmistakable gestures. A candlelit dinner, a heartfelt, "I love you," or a sudden embrace that feels like something out of a movie. But psychology tells us another story, one that plays out not on the stage of grand romance, but in the smaller hidden corners of everyday life. The truth is, when a woman is deeply in love, her feelings rarely explode into the open. Instead, they seep through the cracks of her behavior in ways so delicate, so understated, that most men pass them by without even noticing. And when they do, they mistake them for something ordinary, politeness, habit, or friendliness. Yet behind those subtle gestures lies something far more profound. A glance held just a moment too long. A memory she recalls that you barely even remember sharing. A compromise she makes, small to her, but monumental in meaning. These are not accidents. These are not coincidences. They are signals. Signals deeply rooted in psychology. Signals that reveal not just attraction, but something greater. Love. But here's the problem. Most men miss them. They expect love to arrive with fireworks, with certainty, with words spoken aloud. And when they don't see that, they assume nothing is there. They overlook the quiet truth in front of them. They fail to realize that while words may falter, actions rarely lie. Across history, across cultures, these signals remain the same. Timeless, tested, and often misunderstood. A woman in love reveals herself through three powerful signs. Not with her lips, but with her choices, her attention, and her willingness to share what she guards most closely. And if you don't know how to recognize these signals, you may never see the depth of what she feels. You may mistake love for indifference, loyalty for routine, and devotion for simple kindness. In this video, we'll unravel these three signals. We'll uncover what they look like in real life, why they matter, and how men can finally learn to notice them before they slip away, unrecognized and unreturned. Because love does not always announce itself with words, it whispers through actions, and those whispers can mean everything. But before we uncover these signals, let me welcome you. If this is your first time here, I want you to think of this space as more than just a channel. Think of it as a place where hidden truths about psychology and relationships are brought into the light. Because for many men, the mystery of understanding what a woman truly feels has been a lifelong struggle. Every glance, every word, every choice can carry meaning. Yet, so often, those meanings slip away, unnoticed. That's why today matters. Because once you understand these psychological signals, you won't just see when a woman is in love. You'll feel it, you'll recognize it, and you'll know how to respond in a way that strengthens the bond between you. By the end of this video, you'll have more than just knowledge. You'll have insight. The kind of insight that can prevent misunderstandings, protect trust, and deepen connection. You'll no longer need to second-guess, to wonder, or to assume. Instead, you'll have the tools to read the unspoken language of love. So stay with me, because what you're about to discover may completely change the way you look at relationships and the way you look at love itself. Picture this: a quiet evening, nothing special, just two people talking over coffee. The conversation drifts from work to the weather, from the ordinary to the forgettable. But then, something shifts. She hesitates for a moment, almost as if weighing whether to continue. And then she does. She tells him about the time she failed at something that mattered to her, about the fear she still carries from childhood, about the dream she's never shared with anyone else. To him, it may sound like just another story, just words. But psychology tells us it is something far greater. This is what researchers call self-disclosure. It is one of the most powerful signals of love a woman can give. Because when she begins to open the doors to her private world, when she risks judgment and vulnerability. It means she feels safe. It means she trusts. And trust, more than anything, is the foundation of love. Yet here's the tragedy. Most men miss it. They listen to the content, but ignore the context. They hear the story, but miss the risk. They focus on the facts, but overlook the emotion. They don't realize that the very act of sharing is the message. She's not simply telling him about her past. She's saying, without words, you matter to me. I trust you with my truth. This is the first psychological signal of love, emotional availability through micro-disclosure, the quiet release of personal truths that she guards from the rest of the world. It doesn't come with fanfare. It doesn't arrive with bold declarations. It slips into conversation softly, testing the waters, revealing little pieces at a time. And here is where most relationships stumble. A man who doesn't see the signal may respond casually, distracted, or dismissive. And in that moment, what could have been a doorway to deeper connection becomes a missed opportunity. So how should you respond? The answer is simple but powerful. When she shares something vulnerable, don't just listen. Validate it. Don't rush to solve it. Don't minimize it. Don't brush it off. Acknowledge the trust behind the words. Say something that shows you recognize what it meant for her to share. That validation, that recognition, transforms disclosure into intimacy. Quick question. Have you ever had someone open up to you, only for you to realize later how important that moment truly was? Let me know in the comments below, because sometimes the smallest confession carries the heaviest meaning. Now, let's move to the second signal, and this one doesn't come in words at all. Imagine a crowded room. Conversations are happening everywhere. Laughter echoes across the space. Distractions pull at every corner. Yet, somehow, her attention is fixed on one person. She leans in when he speaks, not even aware she's doing it. Her body shifts toward his, even when others are closer. And when he gestures, she mirrors him, subtly, unconsciously, as if their movements are part of the same rhythm. Later, in a different moment, she recalls something he mentioned weeks ago, a passing comment, a detail he barely even noticed himself. His favorite snack, the name of a childhood pet, a story about a book he once read. While to him it was just small talk, to her it was a memory worth storing. She held on to it because it mattered, not by accident, but because he matters. Psychology explains this through two powerful concepts. The first is nonverbal communication. Our bodies reveal feelings we may never put into words. Leaning in, mirroring movements, making eye contact longer than necessary. These are subconscious signals of closeness and attraction. They bypass logic. They bypass choice. They happen because, deep down, love alters how we express ourselves without us even realizing it. The second is something researchers call selective attention. Our minds are bombarded with information every second of the day, yet we only remember what stands out to us. When a woman is truly in love, her brain filters the noise, holding on to the fragments of him that feel important. His likes, his dislikes, his quirks, his world. This is not casual listening. This is attachment. This is love training her mind to prioritize him above the rest. But here's where most men miss it. They expect love to be declared in words. I love you, spoken plainly, clearly, without room for doubt. And when those words don't come, they assume her feelings aren't there. What they fail to see is that her actions already are the declaration. The way she remembers, the way she leans in, the way she quietly adjusts her schedule to align with his, even if she never says why. These are not coincidences. They are the language of love without words. So here's the key. Don't just listen to what she says, watch what she does. Pay attention to the consistency of her actions. Is she leaning closer more often than not? Is she recalling the details you thought were insignificant? Is she aligning her world with yours without making a show of it? These patterns are love speaking in silence. Because love doesn't always arrive with speeches. Sometimes, it's in the tilt of a head, the echo of a gesture, the way her attention filters the world until, in her eyes, only one person remains. And yet, as powerful as this is, it's still not the deepest signal. There is one more, one that reveals not just affection in the present, but commitment for the future. A signal that can tell you if she sees you not just as someone she loves now, but someone she's willing to build her life around. Stay with me for this, because the third signal is the one most men never recognize, until it's too late. Now, we arrive at the third signal, the one that doesn't just reveal love in the moment, but commitment for the future. Imagine this. She had plans for the weekend, maybe a yoga class with friends, or a quiet day set aside for herself. She could have kept those plans. No one would have blamed her. But instead, she chooses differently. Not because she was pressured, not because she was forced, but because she wanted to. She rearranges her schedule, she shifts her priorities, and she makes space, not for convenience, but for connection. This is where love shows its weight. Psychology calls this investment behavior. It's the quiet proof that she sees value in the relationship, enough to make sacrifices, small ones, sometimes invisible to the outside world, but meaningful all the same. She bends not to lose herself, but to include you in her world. And yet, this is the signal most often overlooked. Many men see it as nothing more than kindness, or flexibility, or politeness. They miss the deeper truth, that willingness to adjust, to compromise, to give up something of her own for the sake of the relationship is one of the strongest signs of commitment love can offer. Here's what makes it even more powerful. It's not about losing identity. A woman in love doesn't erase herself. She doesn't abandon her passions, her dreams, or her sense of self. Instead, she weaves the relationship into her life, balancing her individuality with her devotion. That balance is love at its most mature, its most enduring. But here's the danger. If you fail to see it, if you treat those sacrifices as ordinary or expected, you risk undervaluing what they truly mean. Because every time she shifts her world to include you, she's sending a message. You matter enough for me to choose you over me, at least for this moment. So the question isn't whether she makes sacrifices, it's whether you notice them, whether you appreciate them, whether you respond with the same investment in return. That's why the third signal matters so much. When she willingly adjusts her life to fit you into it, not out of pressure but out of love, that's not convenience. That's not routine. That's commitment speaking without words. And now I want to ask you, what's the smallest but most meaningful thing someone has ever done for you in love? Share it in the comments. I'd love to read your stories, because sometimes the smallest gesture carries the greatest truth. We've uncovered 3 powerful psychological signals that reveal when a woman is truly in love. First, the whisper of vulnerability, when she begins to share her inner world through self-disclosure. Those small confessions, those private fears and dreams, are not random words. They are risks, and they are trust. Second, the silent language of her body and her attention. The way she leans in without realizing it, mirrors your movements, remembers the smallest details you thought she'd forget. It's love written not in words, but in patterns of closeness and care. And third, the sacrifices she makes, subtle yet profound. The way she shifts her world to include you, balancing her individuality with her commitment. Those moments, so easy to dismiss, are proof that you're not just a passing thought, you're a priority. So, if you've ever doubted how much a woman loves you, remember this. Love rarely shouts. It whispers. It reveals itself in risks, in patterns, in sacrifices. And if you learn to listen, not just to what she says, but to what she does, you'll see the truth she's been showing you all along. If this video opened your eyes, if it gave you even one insight you hadn't noticed before, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. This with someone who needs to hear it. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 3 signals have you experienced in your own life? Was it the vulnerable late-night confession, the way she remembered something you said weeks ago, or the quiet sacrifice she made just to be with you? Drop your story in the comments. I'll be reading through them, because your experiences might just help someone else see the love in their own life more clearly. This is Hidden Side of Her. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If this video opened your eyes, imagine how many misunderstandings, how many heartbreaks could be avoided if more men understood this hidden language of love. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today, because the smallest insight can sometimes save the biggest relationship. Now, I want to hear from you. Out of the 3 signals we uncovered, vulnerability through self-disclosure, body language and attention, and quiet sacrifices for love, which have you noticed before? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be reading, I'll be replying, and your story might just help someone else recognize the signs in their own life. And if you found value here, don't forget to subscribe. This channel is about more than just psychology. It's about creating a community where relationships become clearer, stronger, and healthier. By joining us, you're not just subscribing to a channel, you're joining a movement where love is understood, not guessed. And here's something to think about before you click away. Today we talked about how women show love. But in the next video, we'll uncover something even more powerful. The hidden signs a woman is losing interest long before she ever says it out loud. You won't want to miss that, so hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.